I shall have you cued and ready in 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Wow.
What can I say? I'm a pro. I'm taking you don't need the lyrics.
No, I'm all right, but I'm going to get them up on my phone for backup. I always blank on that bit, no pardon the way that I stare.
Right. Live in 5.
Out of the way, email pop-up. Eh? Oh, my God, I've got a stiffy.
George!
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 379 of The Talk of the Street, another official Coronation Street catch-up podcast that thought ITV had a budget crisis, and here it is wasting pints of milk in this economy. I'm Gavin.
And Star Trek 4 The Voyage Home is still my favourite Star Trek movie.
Now, I don't know if this is something to be proud of, but you managed to watch all 6
Of the original movies, yes.
in one 12-hour period.
As opposed to the alternate universe movies, which I rewatched all of... Was it last year or the year before when I was doing the Simon Pegg filmography? I think it was the year before.
Simon Pegg's in Star Wars?
Star Trek.
Oh, Star Trek.
He's Scotty.
Is he?
Yeah, in the alternate universe, he's Scotty.
What alternate universe?
The alternate universe, the newer, remake of the original cast with what's his name, the good Chris as Captain Kirk, Chris Pine, and Simon Pegg.
We've already talked about Star Trek
Scotty
more than I'd like to.
And also, I didn't watch the Next Generation movies.
There's Next Generation movies?
Yes. We have one of the posters for the Next Generation movies in the stairwell to our basement.
We have
on
a
the wall.
basement? And so on and so forth.
I feel like perhaps
Here
we
we
have
are.
bigger problems than Star Trek if you can't remember we have a basement.
Here we are recording a podcast at 1:33 on a Friday afternoon.
Yes.
I don't think in the 7 years we've been doing this, 7.5 years, 7.5 years, I don't think we've ever recorded at this time of the day before. Never mind on a Friday.
No. But you took the day off and I'm unemployed, so it worked out perfectly. Plus, we have a football game to go to this evening.
Which is really the reason why.
Yes.
Because it's senior night.
It is senior
and
night.
we have a senior.
We do.
Not a senior citizen.
A senior in high school.
Yeah. Although it'd be quite fun to watch senior citizens play football, I think. Not that kind of football. Anyway. How are you this week? I'm all right. It's been a stressful old week, but
it has.
Show me a week that hasn't been.
Right?
Recently.
We tried the new restaurant in town. That was exciting. Mm-hmm. This is what passes for excitement in Eaton Rapids it
is all the town is talking about.
When a new restaurant opens in that restaurant that has been like 6 restaurants since we've moved here.
There's a new restaurant that's the same as the other restaurant.
Well, one of the other restaurants.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Only it's smaller and the food isn't as good. But it's funny because, like I said, it's been like 6 different restaurants before. And when you walk in, the ghosts of all of the other restaurants that has been in the past just rise up to meet you as you walk in the door.
Yeah, in the form of the smell.
The smell and the booths and the
yeah,
signage.
Those haven't changed either.
No. Yeah, because you tried to pay with American Express and they said, we don't take American Express. And you're like, it's on the door. And they're like, that's from the restaurant before this. It's like, take it off.
I was very tempted to make a big deal about that.
Take a razor blade to the sticker and take it off before you open.
You've changed the signage. You've changed
right.
the illuminated sign at the parking lot entrance.
Right,
and you don't take off the "We accept American Express" sticker.
Right, yeah. Which was hilarious.
I get points, damn it.
Which was hilarious in itself because they kept peeling off the layers of the restaurants that it's been in the past until they got to the original restaurant, which made people all excited that we were getting another Chinese restaurant. And we were like, no, that particular Chinese restaurant closed 10 years ago.
Yeah. This
It's
is,
all fun and games in the Midwest.
it is indeed. Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that Midwestern Corrie news.
Long before she was Carla Connor, Alison King worked at Fat Willie's Surf Shack, where she met Philip Middlemas, who played Des Barnes on Corrie.
Are you writing fan fiction again?
They dated for 5 years. This is something that really happened, and it only made it into Corrie News so that I could say out loud, Fat Willie's Surf Shack.
You
Because
did seem to take quite a bit of pleasure from that.
Fat Willie's Surf Shack is a real place in Devon?
So, yeah, there's surfing in Devon. That's about the only place you can surf in the UK. It's a plot point in an Alex Rider novel.
Just the whole Fat Willie's Surf Shack, though.
They know. They undoubtedly know. So, Alison King and Philip Middlemas
Yes.
were an item in real life,
Yes. Before she became an actor.
but he was an actor.
Yes, he was already in Corrie.
He was Des Barnes.
Yes. And apparently she showed up in
Yeah.
she was like a stand-in
Yeah.
a little bit. And then Vicky Myers, who plays our Swain, was a nurse in the scene when Des is killed off in the stabbing. She was an
Oh, is
extra.
she?
She plays a nurse in the background.
I knew
In
she
that
was
scene.
a passerby when, was it Tyrone was in a car crash in the middle of nowhere, and a car passed by and it was DS Swain, probably just PC Swain at that point, on her day off, who drove by. Yeah, they've all been in it before.
Right, yes. But it's just funny because, Carla and Swain. And also, they now live in Dez's old house. Because Des lived in number 6. He was like the first person to own number 6 when it was a new build back in the day.
Oh, look at you with your Corrie knowledge. Just dropping knowledge bombs left and
I'm
right.
just dropping knowledge bombs just so I could say Fat Willie Surf Shack
I know you've said it
like 4 times.
5 or 6 times.
Yes. No more Brody.
Oh, well.
Ryan Mulvey has sparked speculation his character hasn't long left on the street by referring to himself as an unemployed actor. We made this video, The Life of an Unemployed Actor. One can only hope, but apparently the show has confirmed he's still on the payroll, so he is still indeed employed. He was just, I don't know, doing it for the vibes?
The clicks.
Yeah.
The likes, doing it for the likes.
Right, yeah, doing it for the wild speculation so that people would be talking about him.
And here we are.
And here we are talking about him. And finally, welcome to yet another brown-haired Harry as Joshua Levy takes on the role from Carter J. Murphy. Levy is Harry V, but is no stranger to the cobbles, having previously played Finn, son of Lydia, who threw Adam off a mall balcony.
Oh, God, wow. I think I made a meme with him then. I made a meme giving him a Scottish accent. I took a clip of Adam, I raised it in pitch so it sounded like a wee boy,
Right.
and I put that over the wee boy in his pram when Lydia met Adam and Sarah at the Christmas market.
Right. Yep.
Wow.
And that was the Christmas market that Billy
That
played
was just
piano.
a wee boy.
Yeah. He was very wee at the time. And now he's walking and talking. And played Sarah's song.
Yeah. Harry 5.0, you say.
Yes. Harry
I
the
was
Fifth.
calling him Harry 3.0 because
Right.
not counting the babies.
Right. Yes. Yes. I'm counting the twins to make him Harry the Fifth,
Yeah.
which I think is funny than Harry the Third.
In the notes, it'll be Harry 3.0.
And that's Corrie News.
That's Corrie News. Well, a very informal yet informative Corrie News, Helen. Well done.
Thank you.
That takes us on to our feedback section. I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Trisha writes in, am I the only one that had a jump scare in the last scene on Monday's episode? It truly looked like Carla and Lisa have a framed picture of Nigel Farage in their house. Turns out it's Johnny, But that particular picture in Swain's head blocking most of the face had me yelling at what? to my screen. I think I had to double take that it was Johnny, but I don't think I made the exact same leap. But you know what?
Yeah.
Swain and Carla are very right wing.
It was the picture in the background that surprised me this week was the fact that Theo and Todd have a picture of Paul, Billy, and Summer in their living room, which is weird considering Theo's antipathy towards our Billy.
And also that Theo's got 2 kids.
And their pictures are nowhere to be seen.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And Chicky writes, I swear Corrie this week felt like it was written by a committee of chaos enthusiasts. I'm all for drama, but can we please give Asha her own story back? Her recovery has turned into a family tug-of-war where everyone's using her trauma as ammunition. Dev and Bernie aren't just hijacking her pain, they're taking it out on each other. The writers need to remember this isn't about them, it's about Asha trying to rebuild herself while her so-called support system burns down around her. And then we have Costello, a man who couldn't find ethics with a GPS and a flashlight. Whatever mess he and Becky are in, it's murky enough to make Weatherfield's Canal look crystal clear. He's helping Betsy, protecting Lisa, investigating something shady probably, and somehow doing all of it with that smug air of a man who thinks rules are for other people. Meanwhile, Becky's out here hugging Lisa like she's still wearing the wedding ring. It's uncomfortable to watch. It is uncomfortable to watch.
It's very uncomfortable to watch.
Then Abby's back to stealing cars like it's her side hustle, and I'm sitting here thinking, didn't we learn this lesson already twice? She stole Ray Weinstein's car to set fire to it in 2020, and stole another car while she was pregnant trying to escape that locked barn in 2022. She's got form, even if she didn't go through with it this time. Corrie's a hot mess right now, but it's our hot mess, and for that reason alone, I keep on watching every episode, shouting at my TV, and writing emails like this one.
I kind of feel like she gets a pass for stealing a car in an attempt to escape a kidnapping, though. It's not like she was stealing the car to, like, sell it or anything. She was using it to escape. And also the Ray Weinstein, again, she didn't steal it to, like, sell it. She stole it to...
Oh, she stole it, she just blew it up.
Right, yeah. Well, she kind of had to steal it in order to blow it up. She had to move it, if I remember correctly. She did move it.
I can't remember the lead up to it. I can just remember her doing a Joker and walking away from it as it
Right,
exploded.
yeah. She was doing her waiting to exhale moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the exhale, she did.
Yes, she did.
Well, thank you very much, Cheeky, and to Trish R for the feedback this week. It's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Or we love it when people write actual letters to us. Shit, I forgot to check the PO
I was
box.
going to ask if you checked the P.O. box this week.
Hey, you know what? It's so early on a Friday. I can check it later.
Right.
When I get to.
We love it when people send us actual mail.
Yep. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we shall podcast for coffee. Thanks to French Helen for our coffees this week.
Merci beaucoup.
French Helen says, ooh la la. You know what I'm talking about. And you know, French Helen,
We do.
I think we do. Thank you ever so much for buying us our coffees this week. I really appreciate it. I'm drinking my, what did we call this? Starry.
Yes.
Starry's a thing.
Starry's a thing.
Popular thing.
It's a newer thing. It's the latest competitor to Sprite and 7-Up.
Lemon lime.
It's the Pepsi.
Tasty.
It's the Pepsi iteration, which used to be Slice.
Oh, it's changed its name?
Yeah, because you can't get Slice anymore. Now it's Starry. I believe that's a Pepsi product. And I know we get their commercials all the time when we go to the movies.
Every fucking time.
With the lemon and the lime, that the lemon says, the lemon is dressed
You don't
like...
have ears.
But yeah, the lemon is dressed like the lime, and the lime is dressed like the lemon, and the lime says music to my ears, and the lemon says you don't have ears, and pokes him with a conductor's wand.
And then says, shut it, you prick.
And it's like he obviously has ears somewhere, and so do you, in order to hear him say music to my ears.
Is it possible that you've given a little too much thought to this commercial?
Do you think this is the only commercial I've given too much thought to?
I really don't like the Mountain Dew one that always follows the starry one.
Oh, yeah. The one where the guy is floating down the river with an otter. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hate it.
And the other guy with the green lime furry jacket is hiding in that woman's refrigerator.
If you'd like to hear more about our thoughts of commercials that show before the movies at Celebration, just at Celebration, not at other movie theatres, or maybe this will become that podcast.
I feel like this is more a list of lists content, if anything.
Sure.
Maybe that'll be our paid program for list of lists will be Helen and Gav talk about commercials.
No, you're doing that on your own. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free in your podcast provider and on the YouTubes, but if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation, or if you want more weekly and monthly content, here are your options. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast for as little as $2 a month. You can sign up at patreon.com/The Talk of the Street, ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street, or hit the join button on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Talk of the Street podcast. Friends of the podcast get access to our weekly spoiler show, The Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, or the monthly classic Corrie show, The Talk of the Street Classics. And if that wasn't enough for you, you can also get a shout out at the end of every podcast and your name on the credits of the flagship. If you prefer something a little less formal, you can also buy us next week's coffees by going to ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street, and all our links can be found at linktree/Corrie Podcast. And in a kind of stars aligning sort of way, next week, next Saturday, all three of our podcasts will land on that day, because next Saturday is the 1st of November. So on the 1st of November, you'll get...
It's terrifying.
I know. You'll get this show, you'll get the spoiler alert, and you'll also get the classics. And this month, in the classic, we're talking about episode 630, which is an episode in which there's a fancy dress party.
Yes.
I'll have
But
to
it's
say,
not Halloween.
It's Boxing Day.
Yeah,
it's a Boxing Day episode.
Which is confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing for a whole manner of reasons, which we'll go into at great length.
Yes. It was fun, though.
It was
I
great.
can't wait to talk about it.
Remember, you can always support the podcast for free. Get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. Shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline this week is The Lonely Grave of Tia Wardley. We still don't know anything about Tia Wardley. I was kind of hoping we would by now. On Monday.
We know she's dead.
Do we?
She was the corpse that was used in Becky's place.
But was that Tia Wardley? Was her name Tia Wardley? I don't think we know.
I think we need to let that go.
That's going to come back, I'm sure. On Monday, Betsy's still in the jail. And Becky is now just walking into Swain's without knocking. She's been out and about and has a thumb drive from the 1850s, I think, that will prove Betsy's innocence. Who walks about with a thumb drive?
In the year of our Lord 2025, no one.
Nobody. I've got 2 thumb drives upstairs somewhere.
I'm sure
covered in dust.
I'm sure there are plenty in this room and in the living room in drawers just sitting there that haven't been touched in like 10 years.
I had an 8 gigabyte one that was pretty enormous at the time, and now is like, I think the tiny little memory card that's in this podcast recorder is 128, and it's like a quarter of the size. Anyway, so Swain goes to the Nick and starts waving the thumb drive about, insisting that Betsy gets freed. The drive has evidence that it was some bloke who vandalised the car. A 6-foot bloke with a balaclava on, not Betsy at all, says Swain triumphantly. What about the assault? The copper asks, and that shuts Swain up. She wants to talk to Costello about it and shouts at him and says that Betsy swears that she didn't touch him and she wants to make a complaint. Fill your boots, says Costello, and then starts to wonder where this new evidence came from. He knows that it was Becky that gave Swain the thumb drive.
He's probably the one who gave it to Becky to give to Swain, to give back to him.
Out of nowhere, he tells Swain to give Becky a break, as she apparently was desperate to let Swain and Betsy know that she was okay, and it was he, Costello, who put the kibosh on that. And that seemed like a very strange detail, didn't it?
It did.
Swain takes this obvious crock of shit at face value because she's as thick as mince now. Betsy gets home and immediately goes out, which allows Swain to quiz Becky about Costello's claims, and she's non-committal, but then admits that it's true. And Swain doesn't ask Becky why she never mentioned this earlier and continues to fall for this garbage.
But does she, though?
She looks like she does.
But does she, though? Because there are moments where Swain looks like she's buying this wholesale. And then there are moments where her eyes look like maybe she can see through the bullshit, but she's putting on a good face to it.
Did you think so?
Yeah, I kind of felt that way. More so later in the week when we're talking about, the secret trip to Spain. Which will not feature Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, unfortunately, but will feature Becky and Betsy.
Is that the trip to Spain joke?
Yes, that is a trip to Spain
Because
joke.
I feel like that's a pretty niche joke.
Not for people in the United Kingdom, surely. Surely they've all seen the trip to Spain movies.
I thought so.
And the other trip to movies where
We drove to Canada to see that.
we did.
And we'd do it again.
We drove to Canada to watch a movie, and we do it again, even though it's probably harder for us to go to Canada to watch a movie these days.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. No, I felt all the way through it that Swain was just absolutely falling for this, and some of the actions that happen later feel like it kind of backed it up. But anyway, we'll get to it. It's still confusing why Becky didn't say any of this straight away. Like, when they were having the whole argument about how she could just leave and how she missed them and all that sort of stuff, you'd think at that point she doesn't owe Costello anything. No, she doesn't owe Costello anything in Swain's eyes. So it would have cost her absolutely nothing to say it was Costello that forced us to stay apart. And the fact that we're, week 3 of her being back now and this never comes up, but then comes up now, and then it's just taken as gospel, just felt really, really bizarre. Becky goes off to get packed, so Swain tells her to stay a little bit longer. Betsy goes to Nina's Rolls and Roy awkwardly quizzes her about the situation at home and offers to bring round a lasagna later as a treat for the family.
Apologies to our spoiler alert listeners. I said it was soup.
Oh, did you?
I did.
I tell you, Helen, honestly, I forget everything that we talk about in spoilers the second that I press stop.
In my defense, all I saw was like a container, like a Tupperware container in Roy's hands. It could have been anything.
Roy loves making a lasagna. Costello calls Becky and tells her that he's done his bit and now orders her to fuck off back to Spain, telling her his whole life is on the line here. Not until I have my family back, says Becky. Later, Becky's making herself at home and starting to watch the Game of the Thrones as she and Swain get wired into the vino, and Swain is suddenly overcome with emotion and nostalgia and gives Becky a hug on the couch, which is spotted by Roy as he wanders in with the lasagna.
Yes, because Roy also doesn't knock. Or wait, no, he does knock.
Betsy lets him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Becky and Swain don't say, oh,
They hear that because we hear it.
the door has been knocked on, somebody's coming in. We need to continue to pretend to be sisters.
It's so
Or not.
It's becoming so very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
Swain looks guilty AF as she pushes Becky off, but not like that. Privately, Swain tells Roy that it was just a hug because it had been a trying day and she'd never hurt Carla, whom she loves. So later, Swain and Becky have a talk, and Becky apologises for early and agrees to no more sleepovers and plans to go back to Spain. Betsy overhears this and loses her shit at the recently undead mother fucking off again, this time by choice. Becky chases after her, says that this couldn't be permanent right now anyway, and they should all have known that, and suggests that Betsy comes to Spain with her. Says Betsy. Meanwhile, Swain goes to Nina's Rolls to check the lay of the land with Roy, and Roy awkwardly asks Swain that if she loves Carla, does she still love Becky? Swain admits that she does, but she loves Carla more, and given the choice, she'd be with Carla forevermore. Roy is satisfied, but not like that. Swain also mentions the screaming rows that she used to have with Becky, which will probably become important at some point.
Yes.
Roy thinks it's time that she sent Becky back to Spain. So later, when Swain refuses to stop Becky from leaving, Betsy tells Becky that she's in. She's going to go to Spain. And Becky wonders if they could make Swain come with.
But not like that.
Yeah, they were very touchy-feely on the couch. You know, sort of the cradling of the cheeks, the facial cheeks, and the hand on the back of the head, and maybe a quick thumb drive.
Which bothers me because, you know, Lisa's being very honest with Roy, but not being very honest with Becky, which would give Becky an opportunity to accuse Swain later on of leading her on, I think. When she should just be honest with her. Then again, if people in this show were honest with one another,
There wouldn't be a show.
So,
Right.
because apparently we can only write storylines in which people are dishonest with one another.
Yeah,
That's the only way to create drama, apparently.
that's drama.
There's no other way to create drama except for lying.
There's lying and things happening. But things happening
And then people lying about them.
is more difficult to set up and probably more expensive. You need a volume wall to have things happen.
Here's a way to create drama. A fancy dress party. Setting fire to one table.
Imagine
Waiting for a phone call.
this is going to sound like a plug for our classic show, and maybe it is, but we've watched episode 630 and 638. 630 coming out next month. So that's like a month between each other. I mean, you've got that fire that happens, and you've got this fancy dress party that takes up the entire episode, more or less. God, it's good. And nobody's really lying to anybody.
No.
I mean, Albert lies about what he told Dennis, but that's about it. All right, on Wednesday, Becky and Betsy are talking Spain and the future. Betsy thinks it's worth asking Swain to see if she wants to go, and Carla too.
How does that work? How does that work? How does that work in Betsy's mind?
So Betsy thinks that Swain and Carla are a package, I guess, and would go to Spain together. I don't think Betsy's thinking of it as Becky and Swain getting back together again, which is clearly how it's been pitched her, but that's not how she's thinking about it.
Yeah. It's like Betsy is so innocent here, which is weird.
And not all that believable.
No. She's going to have all three of her mums together? What, does she think her name is Summer or something?
Yeah. So if someone has my three dads, just two now, Betsy has my three mums? Is this a spin-off show?
I guess so. Or technically Summer has my two live dads and two dead dads.
Yeah. That's far too long a title.
It's true.
So, yeah, says Becky to that suggestion. Yeah. Betsy wants to bunk
Sure.
off work and talks Becky into taking them into town to buy bikinis. And Nina's rolls, Sally messages Swain to let her know that Betsy didn't show up for work. Fucking hell, Sally.
Well, if Sally is like managing and is looking and this, see,
At this point, I can predict that I'm going to insist that Betsy's an adult.
right.
So just keep that in mind.
Right. Betsy's an adult, but obviously she did not do the responsible adult thing of calling into work and saying, I'm not feeling well. I'm not coming into work today.
The trick is call in before you've had a drink.
Sure. Although
That's what you should do.
having a drink does make you sound sicker. Or it can. But,
Not that kind of drink, like an orange juice or something.
oh, okay.
Like this is the morning.
I don't know. It's Coronation Street. People drink in the morning. But Rover's is open early. And because Sally knows, if it was not such a small, tight community, and if Betsy had called into work to say, I'm not going to be in, I don't think Sally would have called Lisa.
It makes Sally a grass, and it's also weird that you wouldn't call Betsy.
Well,
that
maybe
you would call her mum.
Maybe she tried Betsy first and Betsy dinged the call. And so Now Sally
No,
is
you need to show us that.
and now Sally is maternally concerned about Betsy's well-being, so that's why she calls Swain.
She's just a drama merchant. That's all she is.
No, she's a mum.
Swain goes home to shout at Betsy, who announces that she's quit, and she's about to announce that she's moving to Spain when Becky interrupts and motions for Betsy to shut her face. So Betsy stomps up the stairs of Discovery.
Yeah, she storms up the stairs of Discovery, but then appears later on the swings.
Yeah, and that's where Becky finds her.
Yeah, how did that happen? Did she
There's
fly out the window?
There's a slide out of her
Do
room.
they have like an emergency stairwell back there now that after the whole Tim Dad falling off the roof thing?
Yeah, it's to get emergency access to the chickens. So Becky finds Betsy at the precinct and tells her not to burn her bridges, and Carla would be a good reference that she might need in the future. Betsy asks what Becky does in Spain for a living, and Becky says, as little as possible.
Which is weird, isn't
Which is
it?
very weird, because I'm
weird.
starting to think now, has she even been in Spain? Because she starts to say that she lives for going to the beach. Well, where's your tan then?
Didn't we say this at the very beginning?
On scene 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're very pale for having just been to Spain, ma'am.
For 4 years.
For 4 years.
So she doesn't have a job.
Right. And she has enough money to live on without working. It sounds very strange.
Super suspicious, and of course Betsy doesn't notice.
No.
She works on Betsy to apologise and keep quiet until the right moment, and Betsy agrees and goes to sort out Sally, but not like that. Meanwhile, Becky says that she'll prove she's trustworthy to Swain through her actions, and that's as far as we get in this mess of a storyline this week.
Yes. I think I'm tired of the storyline and I hate it and I want it to go away. It feels like every week it becomes more convoluted, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of slowly revealing things so that we can slowly put things together, it just adds more stuff on top of it. You know, as if maybe these are writers for a soap opera and not writers for a police procedural.
Yeah.
Trying to write a police procedural.
I don't even think this is a police procedural anymore. This is a dark thriller. This is a spy novel of some nature.
It's The Departed.
As you will never miss the opportunity to say.
The Departed? No,
Yeah.
I won't.
It's when you watch this and then you listen to the interviews that Kate Brooks gave last week about what's coming up in autumn, winter,
And it being more
Christmas.
homely and...
But also that the whole Becky story's got some time to run, and there's always twists and turns that are yet to tell. And I don't know, this at the moment it feels like it was I'm not going to say a good idea, but it feels like it was a strong, maybe not even a strong idea. It feels like it was an idea to bring Becky back and to pull the rug from Carla and Swain, because God knows they've had it far too easy for far too long, right? And as the story has landed and bedded in, it feels less and less satisfying, I think, to me anyway. It feels like you said that it's getting more and more complications thrown on it. Like, what did Swain do in Spain? What exactly is this relationship between Costello and her?
Right.
What do they have on each other where
Right.
their lives are going to be ruined and ended if any of this comes out?
Right.
And then we keep on going back to the problem that it seems that only Costello and Becky knew about her buggering
Right,
off
yeah,
to
this is-
and I'm going to say Spain in inverted commas.
And this is the whole thing because, you know, this was supposedly a police thing. But then last week, Costello said, if it comes out that I disappeared you, I'll lose my job. And it's like, oh, well, then it's not really a police thing. You're just lying to Swain that it's a police thing. Because if it was a police thing, more people would know about it, a.k.a. The Departed. What do you think came first? The idea for the storyline or the speculation online that Becky was still alive?
Oh, 100% speculation.
Yeah. And
100%.
And this is just them giving the people what they think the people want. ignoring the
there's
fact.
there's a word for that. That's pandering, isn't it?
Yeah, just a wee bit. I was trying to be polite.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's like, ooh,
I'll say pandering with my pinky out then.
people want this. Let's give the people what they want. And then they've backed themselves into a corner trying to write a story that makes sense for giving the people what they want. Sometimes you don't give the people what they want because sometimes the things that people want are stupid. And this is one of them. This is a stupid storyline that doesn't make sense, that is rewriting history, and it's just not entertaining.
No, every time she, and by she I mean Becky, just slinks into that house from a door that she opened
Right, without knocking.
and just silently just mooches into the house, it just frustrates me and it just annoys me that much. And there's nothing against the actor here, but I don't know that there's enough in this. And it feels weird that with the dynamics of this relationship with Carla and Swain the cop, that this is a storyline that you come up with.
Right.
I don't know. It's not really delivering for me at the moment.
No.
Like I keep on saying, I think there is a story here. I don't know that it's a Coronation Street story, and I'm interested on some level to see where this goes, but can you just give me the bridge notes for it and
Right.
and then I can get on with my life.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the problem. I think that they're coming up with it as they go.
I'm sure they're not, but
It feels
but
like
the genesis of it.
yeah, it
is
feels
a
like
bit-
they're writing it as they go. It does not feel like a well thought out
but they're
storyline.
writing the next scene as the current scene's airing,
No, that's not what I mean. But
because
they're-
that would be fun.
They're writing the next week as the they're
That's not that much better.
but anyway.
Yeah, let's move on. The most racist careers fair in Manchester. On Monday, Dev is worried because everyone knows that Asha tried to take her own life and he wants to close that narrative down. Bethany suggests being honest with Asha might be the way to go, as there's no way that he can keep everyone quiet about this because he's told too many people and too many people found out. There's a mishap later where Dev accidentally spills orange juice down Asha and she freaks out and tells him to leave her alone. Meanwhile, in Nina's roles, Gemma's wig tells Bethany that she wants to get revenge on Naomi, but a passing Kit tells them both to leave it as Naomi has a history of violence. When Dev gets home, Asha has made dinner. It's her way of saying sorry. Dev mentions speaking to Glenda and then has to admit that people do know that what Asha tried to do, and Asha is fucking furious.
Yes, she is.
So Wednesday, in Nina's
But
roles...
you know what? I still feel like Dev can't help that.
No.
This was, she was very publicly found.
Exactly. She tried to do something in public.
Right.
People are going to find out about it.
Yeah.
And people are going to talk, and that's not your dad's fault.
No.
Your dad talking about it to people
Is
is
his
on
fault.
him, but the horse has bolted
Yes.
to this point.
Yes, absolutely.
On Wednesday, Nina's roles, Nina is thrilled to see Asha home, but annoyed that Asha didn't speak to her about how she was feeling. Asha doesn't really want to chat about this, especially not in the middle of a cafe. Meanwhile, Bernie and Gemma's wig have set up a fake meeting at the bistro between Naomi and one Harriet Chesterfield, supposedly to chat about careers, using the Harriet Chesterfield pseudonym, who is a real person.
Yes. And is a real, career guidance person.
So Naomi comes into the bistro, Toya takes her to her table, Gemma's wig leaves her sitting there super late, and then goes over to chat to Naomi as a bit of a time-wasting student lout which Bernie records on her phone.
Yes, from several tables away, and yet apparently is getting clear sound.
Well, we were complaining that Theo got clear sound from roughly the same distance last week.
Right, yes. So
Which
it's
you did.
still a complaint. This is still ridiculous. Just like the video later, which is ostensibly recorded by somebody else, where you
With
hear
a professional camera.
which you hear Dev clear as day speaking to Naomi in a crowded restaurant and there are no other sounds.
Yeah.
They have a cappuccino machine in that restaurant.
Yeah, they used a film crew who came in to record that bit.
Right.
Toya is suspicious and speaks to Bernie, who explains who Naomi is and explains Gemma's plan to rile her. Toya isn't sure who this is supposed to help and calls Dev to grass Bernie and Gemma's wig up good and proper. Meanwhile, Gemma's wig has wound Naomi up and Naomi slugs Gemma's wig and threatens to take on the whole bastard and lot of them.
I know. It's so funny how fast that accelerates.
It really did go from 0 to 60 in no time at all.
Right,
didn't it?
yes. And that's only from her drinking coffee.
Two cups though.
Black strong coffee.
She also hooks Bernie. Kit comes in to break this up with Dev, so Kit nicks Naomi and Bernie, but before they go, Dev has something to get off his chest, and because the police are accommodating like that, Kit indulges him. Dev announces to the bistro that Naomi is an awful person who attacked and abused his precious Asha to the point that she tried to take her life. It seems that Bernie wasn't the only one filming this, so all of this gets back to Asha thanks to everyone having magnificent SEO game.
Right?
And she is not amused. She's pissed off at Dev betraying her and not listening to her, which makes Dev in turn pissed off at Bernie. The mood is lightened briefly when Kit comes round to inform everyone that Naomi has been charged with ABH. Bernie is thrilled that Naomi is getting her comeuppance. Asha isn't as happy as Bernie thinks that she should be, but that's because Asha is moving out to stay with a friend. She can't live here while Dev and Bernie don't have the emotional skills to support her. Burn.
I know. That was very Gen Z of her to be that specific about emotional maturity
As usual.
in her elders.
As usual, Dev takes this out on Bernie and tells her to move out. How long for? And he doesn't answer. It's like, yikes. They've been married for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, and he's kicked her out 3 times.
Yeah. Shouted at her, I think, countless times. But I think based on what we said earlier, and I've got all the sympathy in the world for Asha, but I also have some sympathy for Dev and Bernie as a collective here. They're doing stupid things that aren't helping, and they really aren't listening to her
No,
when
not
she
at all.
says what she wants and what she needs from them. But when she says that they don't have the emotional capability to
Listen to her.
deal with this and give her the support that she needs, it's like, well, you're just leaving them now absolutely hanging.
Right.
But good on her though for just moving out.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
I can stay here and pretend that I'm okay with this and try and put up with this, or I can just remove myself, and she's removing herself, so good for her. On Friday, Bernie stayed at Gemma's wig's house while she's in Dev's cunt books. Gemma's wig tries to distract her by getting her to plan the quad's 6th birthday party, which she's a little bit
Oh
too
my
worried
God,
about
has it
Asha.
been 6 years since she gave birth in that
Cable car in Wales.
right, yes.
There's a funny thing because if they
A
get
gondola.
if they get 4 balloons with 6 on them, and one of them
Pops.
gets lost,
Then it's 6. Why would they not just have one balloon with the one number 6 balloon? They're all 6.
Mm-hmm.
They can share one balloon.
They're 6.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
So really they should be chatting incessantly all the time.
Right.
We
And
shouldn't really be able to go to Gemma's house without hearing the quads.
right.
And yet I can't remember the last time we saw them.
No. Because they're always in school or upstairs having a bath.
It's amazing though. 6 years ago, I think I came up with my darkest suggestion that one of those quads was going to die, because
Yes.
it's who's going to have 4 kids that age in a house for any length of time. The writers are going to make this easy for themselves. They're going to get rid of 1, maybe 2 of them. But they've kept a lot. And Gemma's and Chesney have successfully nurtured them to 6 years old.
Right. Well, one of them is deaf.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was either Gemma or Chesney's fault.
No, it was, them being quads. Probably. But, they've given one a disability, although I take that back because most people in the deaf community do not consider themselves disabled, and I apologize in advance. But they've at least given Alad, the something that sets him apart from the other three.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's something. None of the others, all of the other ones are interchangeable, even though it's one boy and two girls.
Sure. It's Curly, Larry, Mo,
And Alad.
and Alad. That's it. The Three Stooges and Alad. Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk. So Bernard goes to see Dev, who was on the phone to Addy, who in India has seen Dev's outburst in the bistro video.
On the social medias.
Bernie apologises again and Dev seems to have cooled, but they don't really mend fences. So Bernie goes back and helps with the party prep. Seemingly Naomi is all over the news online and is now a prospective Reform MP. Bernie is too worried about a relationship to celebrate, and that's as far as we get with that this week. Is this Splitsville for Bernie and Dev?
I hope not.
Yeah.
Because they just got married twice. It was funny. Who was it who asked if... Oh, Glenda. It was funny when Glenda asked if they were, like, legally married now.
Yeah. Otherwise, she'd have a go on Dev.
Oh, it's Dev that she was going to have a go on.
I think so.
And not Bernie.
I think
don't
so.
know. It was confusing.
Maybe I'm just making assumptions here.
Yes. That Glenda, though, never misses a trick. I love her so much. Can we just make it the Glenda show?
I think it basically is. Yeah, it would be a shame if that would be... They're not going to split them up.
No.
I don't think, but God
Why would
almighty,
they do
Dev,
that now?
Dev is almost impossible to live with.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Bernie's doing stupid things, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but Dev does stupid things all the time. And also, let's not forget, his son did one stupid thing and was sent to India for it. He not only kicked him out, he kicked him out of the country. And yes, I know, later on it became Addie's idea, but still.
Mm-hmm.
This is the child that, let's not forget, Dev left to die in a car.
Yikes. Yeah, we'll never live that down.
Well, Dev will never live
Right.
that down. Not in our eyes, anyway.
I think I understand his stupidity from some perspective, because he needs someone to talk to as well.
Right.
And ideally he would be talking to Bernie, but every time he talks to Bernie about this, she goes off and does something fucking stupid. So she's not really opening herself up to this, to be there for him.
Right.
Because all she can think about is revenge and...
It's justice for Asha.
Uh-huh.
Which is not what Asha says she wants. Or she doesn't want... She wants to get justice a different way, although she's not really being very specific about how she wants to get that particular justice. And maybe she doesn't have the emotional intelligence to put that into words. It feels like there's not enough emotional intelligence on both sides of that family. Which is excusable for Asha because she is still a very young woman.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Dev and Bernie, who should know better.
Right. I do like them. I had cause to watch their bistro wedding when they were dancing to Sash when everyone else had left. I was like, you two are good together. You're good fun together. And they work well because of their unlikeliness, I think. You're not going to give those people two weddings and then just split them up at the first
Right.
at the first hurdle. And
Right.
it did seem to be, Dave at least seemed to be cooling, but just needed a little bit of space.
Right.
But maybe he needs to just grow the fuck up. All right, move on to Home No Help. This starts off as something else. This is a couple of stories, I think, with a common denominator being hope. On Monday, Bethany has been trying on a Halloween costume, but it doesn't fit. I've missed Bethany's storylines.
It fits, but it exposes her stoma bag.
Well, at this point, all we know is that it doesn't fit. Sarah thinks it's about the stoma, but Bethany says it's not and goes to work.
But it is.
She does Hope's nails, and then Ruby comes in, and I'm suddenly very suspicious that it's Ruby that's bullying Hope.
Right, yeah. It's totally Ruby who's bullying Hope online. It's totally what it's going to be. I don't know why anybody's confused about this.
Right.
It's
The way that she comes in...
The call is obviously coming from inside the house.
Yes. The way that she comes in and Hope's showing off her nails and taking photographs for her socials, and the...
Ruby rolls her eyes.
Oh, God, the absolute contempt that Ruby has for Hope at this point is hilarious.
Yes.
And I'm only surprised that it's taken this long.
Yeah, because I understand. I understand, Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It's not nice, but I get it.
I get it, and I think it's an interesting nuance to give Ruby at this point. The fact that maybe all of this shit that's happened over the years has had an effect on her. And as she's sitting there watching Hope getting pardoned and excused...
And storyline after storyline.
Storyline after storyline. Ruby's like, where's my fucking storyline? Well, you go get your storyline, girl.
You go get
This
it.
is it.
You go get it. Yeah. I'm also thinking that the writers watched that documentary on Netflix about the mum who was cyberbullying her daughter.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that. That sounds totally like something I would watch.
Also, spoiler alert for that Netflix documentary about the cyberbullying, because...
It's the mum that does it.
Yeah, it's the mum.
Oh, this is a mystery?
Yes.
Or this used to be a mystery?
It used to be a mystery.
Oh, okay.
It's been out for a number of months now, so I don't think it's really a mystery anymore. And it was
Fair
based
game.
upon a true story. So,
Fair game.
yeah.
I usually do that when I'm watching these true stories.
Uh-huh.
Is that I look up the Wikipedia for it.
Right.
I can't help myself.
Yes.
Yeah, so Ruby's the one that's bullying Hope. When Ruby is less than impressed with the fancy new nails, later Hope gets more hate mail. But
Probably from Ruby.
But she doesn't seem to care because Bethany's pampering her and doing her makeup. Conversation turns to Bethany's Halloween costume, which is two-piece, and she doesn't have time to sew them together or stitch them together or whatever. And Hope tells her, fuck it, just wear it, unless she's a horrible hypocrite. So
Right, yeah. She's like, you've been making me stand on this box and repeat platitudes to myself in the mirror all day. Mm-hmm. What the hell?
Yep. And this sinks in for Bethany, who decides to wear the stupid Halloween costume after all, but gets an accessorizing stoma bag or something.
She puts a sash over it.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I was watching this on my phone, I couldn't tell.
It's like this long, flowy tulle sash that apparently is enough to cover a stoma bag, but also seems to be kind of brushing the ground, which means that somebody might step on it and rip the whole thing off.
Yikes.
And expose the stoma bag, and also parts of Bethany that Bethany wants to keep covered.
Indeed. On Friday, Hope's phone is pinging like a Welsh microwave. Bless you. While Tyrone is trying to get some satisfaction from the police on his hit and run. There's still no news. Tyrone, it's been months. There's no news. There's never going to be news.
It hasn't been months.
It's been at least a month.
It was last month.
It's
was
been at
a
least a month then.
Right.
Cassie wants to take them out for lunch, which makes Fizz suspicious and puff her cheeks. Hope meets Cassie in Nina's roles and they chat about Halloween, where Sam has apparently asked her out. Cassie goes off to take a call, which allows Jake to come over. I had to look up which one that was. Jake come over to tell Hope that Sam is a simp. This is the language that we're using now?
This is rather
Simp?
violent and incel-y of Jake.
Just a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and really kind of inappropriate. It's like the show is just using words that they hear Gen X speak on the internet without looking up why they say it.
And why it's a problem.
Yes.
Hope is baffled but reckons Jake fancies her. At the bistro, Cassie makes a big deal about Tyrone in his wheelchair and shoves everyone out of the way while they wheel him through, much to Tyrone's chagrin, made worse when Cassie asks Fizz if Tyrone is allowed to drink alcohol.
Right, yeah. He's sitting right there, Cassie. And also, the whole make way, man in a wheelchair. It's like, Is there a way to make her, like, overly concerned without making her ridiculous?
No.
Is there any way to make this just a little bit more nuanced and believable?
No. No, they're doing the best they can.
To make it ridiculous.
I think so. And then he's positively fucking livid when Cassie cuts his food for him. He lashes out and then shouts at the restaurant to take a picture, why don't you? Cassie pays the bill and leaves. Fizz is about to nip off for a shite when she notices her bag's gone and some bloke's nicked it and they're running out. Creepy Ollie, who's there with Dee Dee, gives chase while Tyrone feels like a useless twat in his wheelchair. Ollie comes back to a hero's reception from strangers in the restaurant.
Yes.
Drinks are on the house, says Nick, whose establishment is now a hotbed of thievery. In speed dial, Jake comes in and asks Hope how she's doing. But Hope reckons
How you doing?
that he's stalking her and reckons that she's too old for him and shoos him off.
Right.
Jake seems to have it bad, though. At
And
home,
Gary gives him a talking to as well, saying,
yes, she's too old for you and she'd eat you alive.
right, she's like, it's only 3 years, and it's like, it's ages at your age.
At home, Tyrone is down in the dumps about how useless he is. And Fizz is shocked at the size of Ty's ego getting crushed by Ollie helping her. Maybe Tyrone would rather that she got robbed and lost
His
all the contents of her bag, you stupid prick.
Machoism.
And she stomps off upstairs. That was a little... that was a little harsh.
Macho man. No, I don't think so. He's like complaining that Ollie got the purse back, essentially. And Fizz is right. Did you expect me to run after my purse and then maybe get assaulted? And then the people who wrote the spoilers the week before would have finally been correct that I got mugged? They called this a mugging. She doesn't even know the guy slipped her purse off the back of her chair.
Stealth muggings are still muggings.
That's not a mugging. No injury came to her body. It's not a mugging. It was just a theft. But
I don't know that there needs to be injury for it to be a mugging.
yeah, mugging implies that you've been assaulted and robbed.
Implies doing an awful lot of heavy lifting there for you.
But yeah, no, Fizz is absolutely right that Tyrone is feeling far too sorry for himself for the wrong reasons. It's like, I can understand him bitching about his mom shouting, "Gangway, here comes a wheelchair." But being mad that Ollie got the purse back, that's a bridge too far. That is a man being sad for the wrong reasons.
I think he's allowed to be sad for both reasons, though. He's sad that Fizz was mugged.
No,
And
he's sad that he can't defend himself.
That's one thing. He's sad for that, and he's also been sad that he wasn't able to help, because normally would he? Yeah, he probably would. Tyrone would give chase.
He would give chase. Would he catch the guy?
Yeah, he's not as young as he used to be.
No. And also, she wasn't mugged.
But who were these people with their hoodies on in the bistro?
Right, sitting
in
at the table
afternoon?
behind them. Because, the guy got up from his chair, turned around, and slipped her bag off. Like it was just him turning around. Oh, this woman is being very stupid and keeping her bag on the back of her chair, which she cannot see. I'm just going to take this opportunity to steal this bag.
But time elapsed, though, because she was going to go up and nip off for a shite. So she stands up, she turns around, she realises that her bag's not there, she vocalises that her bag's not there, and in the time it takes all this to happen, the two people are still in the bistro.
Right, they're still walking towards the door with her bag and not even hiding it. Not even hiding it. And it's all very suspicious, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And it's all very
it's
suspicious.
like they're waiting.
Yeah, and it's all very suspicious that it's Ollie who runs after and is the hero here.
They are waiting for her to notice.
Yes. They're waiting until until they hear her say that she's going to get up or she's going to pay for the pudding. So this is the time to do it and make sure that she notices before they get to the door. Mm-hmm. But be close enough to the door to be able to run out. And only the youngest person sitting there in the bistro in the middle of the day is going to chase after them.
You know, I was just focusing on the fact that this was stupid and hadn't given any thought whatsoever to the fact that it could be a setup. Because whoever
Really?
they are... whoever they are get away.
Yeah.
Ollie gets the bag back somehow.
Right, but he doesn't, and nothing's been taken. Nothing has been taken out of that bag when he gets back. If you steal a purse, I imagine as soon as you are out that door, even if you're running away, you're going through it, taking the things that you want and chucking
the bag.
purse behind you, sort of thing.
I'm thinking, well, maybe getting downstairs is going to slow them, but there is no downstairs.
There is no downstairs.
The bistro isn't on the first floor.
No. Well, it is on the first floor.
In the
There
US.
is no basement or second floor.
In the US, it's the first floor. No, in the UK, it's the first floor.
Yeah, and in the US, it's the first floor as well.
No, in the UK.
It's not the basement, and it's not the second floor.
Yes, but I'm
it's the
thinking
first
that it's
floor.
on the elevated first floor. You're elevated. You don't have an elevated first floor.
No. We say first floor or ground floor.
You don't really say
But
ground
it's the
floor.
same thing. In elevators, it will sometimes be a G. But that's not really for the ground floor. That's sometimes implies the basement. This is, I'm sure, all very fascinating. But it's also
Hey,
fascinating.
we've been doing this far too long to start worrying about what's fascinating and what's not.
It's also really fascinating because you really do genuinely not remember anything we talk about in spoiler alert. Because I hinted during the spoiler alert for this scene that I thought that possibly Ollie was in on it somehow.
Yeah, I also try to pretend that I don't know things.
Oh, okay. But also
So-
don't know things.
So you shining light on it is maybe something that you shouldn't be surprised doesn't make the cut.
I don't listen anyway.
You don't.
I listen
You're asleep.
in my sleep.
But yeah, that's an interesting. Why would they want to do that?
I don't know. To make him look good?
To make him look good in front of Dee Dee. But it's a risky thing to try and manufacture, because what if somebody else does get involved? What if Tyrone leaps out of the wheelchair and sprints like
And then we find
Usain
out-
Bolt?
And
There's
then
fuck all wrong with you, Tyrone.
And then we find out that Tyrone was lying all along. That it was some ploy to get money out of whoever hit him in the car. Which
Yeah.
hasn't worked out because they haven't caught the guy.
Right.
They will eventually catch the guy.
Carl.
Yeah.
His name's Carl. We'll move on. Finally, we come to Georgie's Stiffy. On Monday,
It's about time. I haven't seen that thing since Elaine left. Or not Elaine, Eileen left.
we saw it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but that wasn't George's Stiffy. That was Todd's Stiffy.
George is in a great mood because he sold a platinum package, whatever that means. Mrs. Watkins will be buried in a platinum coffin. Christina worries that George is looking exhausted and sees the amount of work that he's been taking on, so when she sees him out for the count later, she assumes that he's dead until he starts snoring loudly. And he's still snoring when the undertakers get a call, and Christina takes it, telling the caller, whoever it is, that George isn't available and is far too busy. George, I'm sure, has an answer phone. Christina, just let it go to the answer phone. Or they'll call back.
Yep.
Awake and at the pub later, George is a-courting Christina and tells Glenda to pull out the big guns. It's a karaoke microphone, but before his song starts, and before he gets a chance to sing to Christina, George gets a text telling him that he has a stiffy. The Funeral Directors Awards, the Stiffies, have given him the Lifetime Achievement Award, but for some reason, they think he's knocked it back. What on earth's going on with that?
Yeah. He's declined the award. Why would they send him an email about that if they genuinely think that he has declined the award? Hey, we tried to give you this, but you declined it.
somebody that we spoke to that wasn't you declined it.
Right.
What kind of amateur show are they running at the Stiffies? So disappointed. On Wednesday, George slyly hints at accusing Todd of ruining his Stiffy. Todd tells him to call him, but he's already done that, and they've given his Stiffy to someone else. Later, George is still going on about his Stiffy and how he wanted to follow in his father's footsteps, when out of the
By
blue,
getting a Stiffy.
Christina gets an eviction notice by text. She'll be wandering the streets like a bag lady. George offers her Todd's bed at his place, but by his place he really means Eileen's place. Glenda catches wind of this,
Right.
and is a bit upset because she was looking to move there if the new pub owners threw her out, and apparently she can't move into George's massive house without getting housemates. None of this makes sense.
Which doesn't make any sense. Or is that, are we meant to believe that she has rented George's house out?
I don't think she said that.
I kind of thought that maybe that's what she was talking about with that whole housemate thing. That she can't live there because she would have housemates who are already living there because she's rented it out, which doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. George has a big, massive house that actually is his. Why is he calling Eileen's house his? That's not his house.
No. And furthermore, Todd's bed isn't his either.
No.
To offer to anybody.
It's Todd's. It's still Todd's. Because if anybody has a legal ownership of that house while Eileen is gone, it's Todd, her son.
There's just such a strange chain of events that have happened since Eileen left. That if Theo was going to move anywhere, it would have been into Todd's, i.e. Eileen's. And if anyone was going to move out, it would have been George and Mary.
Or at least George, who has a big, massive house of his own that he could live in.
Because Sean's not there anymore. I was thinking Sean's maybe there, but he's got his own place at the
Sean's got his own
precinct.
place. Sean and Dylan.
So why's Todd done any of this?
I don't know.
It's just so. It's obviously so that the storyline that's happening that we'll talk about later can happen.
Right.
But yeah, it's left George in a very peculiar position where he seems to think that possession is 9/10 of the law.
Right.
And because he's living there, it's his house to invite whoever he likes, because he was going to invite Glenda to move in.
Right.
You'll always have a place at my house, he says. And again, by my house, I mean Eileen's house.
Right, yeah. It's so weird. It's not your house, George.
Why are they allowing this to happen? It's so bizarre.
Because they can't, obviously, somehow they can't use the set with George's house on it anymore.
No.
Because I'm assuming like they just rented that house out for a couple of days.
It's somebody's house. They shot in the shed.
Right.
The exterior. I don't think they were ever in it.
Right.
It's Audrey's house at Grasmere Drive all over again.
Right. It's
at least we got to see that occasionally though.
It's Daniel's house that his mum left him.
Yeah.
That he rented out to Ukrainians.
So anyway, Glenda had assumed that she'd get to move into Eileen's as well. Well, tough shit, says George. Christina's in need now, and you might not need this at all.
Right.
So,
but you probably will, because Eva's got a big family.
But then, because he hasn't mentioned his Stiffy in a while, he starts going on about it again and suspecting Todd of ruining it. So Christina, sick of hearing about this, comes clean. She was the one who took the call and said that he was too busy. George is fuming and storms off, but he calms down and finds Christina in the undertaker's later, where she looked like she was writing a Dear John letter or whatever, and explains how important the Stiffy was to him and how he wants to make the ghost of Roy Hudd proud.
Yes, by getting a Stiffy.
And overcome with emotion, they share their first kiss in the undertaker's.
Right.
George gets his Stiffy after all.
It's okay because there's not a body in. Christina's like, is it okay for us to kiss here? Mm-hmm. And he says, it's all right. There's no body in. It's a little creepy.
And at this stage, we must draw a polite veil over proceedings.
Yes.
I'm taking Christina at face value here. Are you?
Yes.
I mean, her dom is barely cold in the ground.
Yeah, but who can resist George?
This is true.
Look at him.
And they do have history.
He's so adorable. And they're friends in real life, so it works really well.
And they were friends as children. Or younger adults.
No.
Yes.
Not in the show.
Well, they were friends of friends.
They were friends of friends who never met because their friends who were friends were going to get them together for a blind date, and George stood Christina up. So they've never met before now. Well, before the last time that Christina was on, when she was, using her own daughter to make money. off of her own daughter. And this is the thing. As we said when the movie The Zone of Interest came out, even Nazis love their children. So even terrible, terrible, evil people have people that they love and care about and take care of. So Christina may be a dodgy character, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't genuinely have feelings for George and is not going to try to steal his money. Tracy has people that she loves, and she also killed a man. And it's also really vile to other people. But she genuinely loves Amy and her dad.
Is it too late for George to get his Stiffy, though?
Well, supposedly they've already given it
To somebody else.
This is the thing. Like
How quickly that was.
They sent him this email, and in the email say, "Oh, we tried to give you this award. We called, but somebody said you didn't want it, so we just gave it to someone else." Why would you even send that email? Why would you send that email?
It's very aggressive.
It is, and not in a good way.
No. A little childish as well.
Right. And you would think that the email would be like, "Hey, we tried to call you to give you this award, to let you know that you've won this award. But someone there said that you didn't want it, and we're just emailing you to confirm that that is indeed the case." You would think that an email and a letter and a phone call would have been done, you know? Because you would want something on paper, something official.
Or just get one of the stiffs to come round and visit the funeral directors and speak to George.
You think they have Walking Dead?
No, I think that's what they're called. The people that work for the Stiffy organisation would be called stiffs. What else are they going to be called?
Undertakers?
We'll move on then. Our next storyline is Sucks to be a Webster. On Wednesday, Abby and Carl are in Nina's roles. Carl trying to drum up some work, but to no avail. He floats the idea of making some money from some more nefarious means, but Abby is a hard fuck no on that, and she would rather scrub Tracy's floor. That's the lowest thing that she can think of. Abby sees Dev and gets an idea. Rob Dev. No, she tries to hit him up for a job at the kebab shop, and he turns her down, but a development in another storyline leaves the kebab shop open and minus staff, so Abby grabs an apron and Kathy's old hat, and she steps up. Jack gets home to find Kev in the dark and unshowered, and is worried about him, which makes Kev shout. And then Kev checks the mail and finds Abby has filed for divorce and wants half his shit. Somehow, Kev knows that Abby's working at the kebab shop, so goes over there
Right,
to shout
yes.
at her.
It's like, how does he know that she's there for him to shout at about something that is very reasonable for her to expect?
Right.
It's like, how dare she seek a portion of the money for the business that we owned together, that I owned while we were married together, so she would have some expectation of getting a portion of that business in the divorce.
He's putting an awful lot of unquantifiable value to the everything I've done for you umbrella.
Oh, absolutely.
She says that the financial demands were at the behest of her lawyer. She had to tick some boxes. There has to be a settlement or there can't be any divorce.
Right?
After everything I've done for you, says Kev.
Shut up.
And he calls her a gold digger and refuses to let her feather her nest with his money, ya cow.
Oh, yes. Yes, she's a gold digger. Kev, look where you live.
Later, back at the calf, Abby tells Carl that she's told the lawyer that she doesn't want any of Kev's money. Internally, Carl hits the fucking roof.
Right, yes. And how frustrating is it to hear Abby say, "Oh, well, I don't want anything from him. You know, I shouldn't expect any sort of monetary value from this." It's like the show just really wants to stomp on Abby as much as possible. Doesn't it?
Well,
Like she's
it
even
always
stomping.
has, so.
Yes, yeah. I'm not surprised, but it's disappointing for them to put these particular words in her mouth. Like she has not brought any sort of value to the garage in the time that she was working there, which she was working there before she got married. Let's not forget.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah. She was working there.
I think so. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Maybe Kev gave her a job before they became a thing.
Yes.
Because that was probably kind of creepy at the time.
Right, because it was something that she had skills in doing.
Right.
Before that's how she got the job, is because she was a skilled mechanic beforehand. It was something that she was trained to do in rehab or prison or something. So it's so aggravating.
Gotta love those rehab mechanic courses, right?
Stomp on Abby as much as possible.
Yeah.
I hate it.
On Friday at the Rape Hotel, Debbie is struggling a wee bit to keep up with her invoices and needs Carl's help. In comes Nick, which looks weird. And he's come in to book a table for Monday night. I wonder what he's going to be celebrating. Debbie is happy to oblige until Carl reminds her that there's a wedding booked for Monday. Disappointed, Nick bursts into tears and leaves.
Yes.
Carl calls...
Oh, damn it. I'm just going to have to do it in my own restaurant.
Carl calls Dylan into a meeting at the Rape Hotel and tries to get him to steal a particularly fancy car that's in the Freshco's car park.
That has been sitting at the Freshco's car park, apparently, for like 5 days.
And he hands him the details. Dylan tells Carl to get to fuck and hands the details back. Abby, who's been knocked back by Dev for working in the kebab shop, catches this and disapproves again. Carl suggests that we rinse Kev then, but Abby would rather steal cars.
Which is ridiculous.
Carl nips off for a shite, which allows Abby to photograph the details, and the details are hilarious. Grey car, Freshco's car park. Debbie catches her and flings her out, but then she happens upon the details too and puts two and two
she
together.
doesn't just happen. She digs into Carl's pockets for it.
At Freshco's, Abby finds the grey car and acts suspiciously around it. She dinges a call from Carl, but in doing so, she sees her lock screen, and it's Alfie, and it gives her pause. Debbie, meanwhile, is snooping behind trees and spying on Abby, and starts videoing...
In the Freshco's park.
And starts videoing her hanging around the car. But when Debbie confronts the woman, it's not Abby. It's somebody else.
Right, yes.
So Debbie goes back to the hotel just as Abby comes in, and Debbie gets stuck into her about the car thing again.
Even though she wasn't there.
Right. And says that she has her number and asks Carl if she's worth it. Abby tends to agree with Debbie and tells Carl that she was going to steal the car but couldn't, much to everyone's surprise, and she credits Kev for giving her a conscience.
Oh, fuck off.
Carl goes to Debbie and asks her to give Abby a break. Debbie agrees, and also agrees that she's been working too hard, so she gives Carl a job at the hotel, which seems like an obvious solution to everyone's problems.
Right,
It's almost ridiculous that this hadn't happened some time ago.
But also it kind of sounds like she's giving Carl the job she's already given to Ryan.
It's very much so. At the desk, Carl is already up to no good as he tries to log into Debbie's supplier website. And that's as far as we get with that this week. I was furious during, spoiler alert, last week, because the idea of Abby going back and to a life of crime at this point just seemed so ridiculous.
Yes.
So I'm glad she didn't go through with it, but I'm still frustrated that she even considered it.
Right. And I'm also incredibly frustrated that she's like, that first of all, Kev seems offended that she's filed for divorce, but also that she has applied for financial restitution from that divorce, and that he seems to think that she deserves nothing, that she has added no value to that garage.
Right.
And it's fucking insane that Abby's just rolls over on that. I get that she feels guilty about the whole Carl thing, but she does have Alfie to take care of. And so, you know, if Kev is going, and she rightly points out, she's like, he saw that, but he didn't see any of the other parts. He didn't read the whole document where I was, you know, going to give him, you know, shared custody of Alfie and other stuff. You know, it's like he only looks at the bad things and not the good things. And it's like, if Kev is going to insist that that child is his son, if not biologically, then, you know, by being the closest thing he's got above ground, he's got to expect that he would have, if he's going to insist upon that, then he needs to be financially responsible for that child. And that would mean giving financial restitution to that child's mother, for whom the child will be in the care of for the majority of the time. It's just...
Well, he'd just woken up.
Right. And he was still in his pajama bottoms, which were hilarious. like, oh, look, it's Kevin, a t-shirt and plaid flannel pajama bottoms.
Of
That's
course.
not a scene that you would ever expect to see on the
Classic.
show.
It's classic. What I want to know is, who was that woman and why was she hanging around dodgily at that car?
Maybe it was her car. She was just talking on the phone. She wasn't being dodgy at all.
Get in the car then.
That
In your car, woman.
was hilarious. Maybe she's waiting for her friend who has the keys. It doesn't really matter. What's hilarious is Debbie is like recording the backside of this woman and talking to herself while photographing the backside of this woman and getting closer and closer. This woman is doing nothing but standing by a car talking on her telephone. None of which would imply that she's stealing a car. And yet Debbie's like, oh, I've caught you. You're videotaping the backside of a woman talking on the phone. Stop being ridiculous. Not everything can be left to your dementia. This is just you being ridiculous. And she seems to kind of acknowledge that towards the end there. But still goes after Abby anyway, because why not? Kick Abby while she's down. Please. Apparently that's all she's good for on the show.
All right, we'll move on to our final storyline tonight, Theo No Sleeves. On Monday, Theo was in a great mood as he and Todd chat about which country pub they're going to go to in the fancy new car. Theo goes off to meet with Gary, and we know it's super serious because it's in the pub. In the builder's yard, Gary's meeting with Pete, which makes Theo a bit awkward. When Gary nips off for a shite, Pete makes it clear that he wants another go on Theo. Theo tells him there'll be no replay, but Pete's an insistent homosexual and calls Theo a drama queen, and Theo does not like being called a drama queen and starts shouting at Pete and threatening him.
Yeah, there is fault on both sides here.
Gary's finished his shite and comes back to World War III between Theo and Pete. Pete storms off, calling Theo a liability and insisting the deal is off unless Gary gets a new scaffolder. Theo tells Gary to forget it. Theo is furious as he gets home and snaps at Todd when he asks too many questions about the Pete thing and suggests too many times that they go for that drive. On Wednesday, in Nina's Rolls, Theo and Todd are chatting contracts and Theo isn't really in the mood for it and suggests that he has other irons in the fire. Meanwhile, Danielle's lawyers have been on him and are after blood from him and their divorce settlement. Todd suddenly becomes worried about Theo's money, so at the Undertaker's, George has been given some restaurant vouchers from a satisfied customer, but Todd changes the subject and tries to hit George up for a pay rise. George had heard about Theo's contract bother and will consider it, even though they had a pay rise not so long ago.
That's true.
In the cafe later, Todd runs out.
Isn't Todd like... Didn't he give him like co-ownership?
He was a partner, I think.
Yeah. So I would think...
You're going to cut the profits more than a salary, probably. In the cafe later, Todd runs into Maria and she tells him exactly the circumstances of the loss of contract the other day and how Theo lost his shit and how it nearly came to blows. Seemingly Gary is meeting with the contractor to try and fix things. Says Todd. So he goes to see Gary but bumps into Pete outside the pub, another pub meeting, and recognises him as a bloke wearing his dressing gown in the hallway.
It's you!
He announces to Gary that Pete slept with Theo and it would be best for everyone if Pete just fucked off. Todd goes back home to shout at Theo, who doesn't see what the big deal was that he didn't introduce Pete properly. Where's the trust, says Todd. Theo tells him to leave him alone, and it doesn't matter because he's still broke. And in the middle of a fairly loud argument, George comes over and Todd buzzes him in. George had been accusing Todd of ruining his Stiffy in another storyline, so now he knows that it was Christina who did that. He offers Todd some restaurant vouchers as a sorry and as a cheer-up for Todd and Theo, and he promises to think about the pay rise request later. This is all news to Theo, who simmers as George leaves. He wants to know why George thinks that he's a charity case, and we eventually get to the nub of the matter, that Theo thinks that he's a failure, and Todd thinks that too. Todd was trying to be supportive, and Theo apologises and breaks down in tears, which surprises the hell out of Todd. They have a cuppa and speak honestly to each other and make up. Later though, in the pub, Theo finds out from Gary that he'd nearly talked Pete back on board until Todd stuck his fucking nose in. And then Theo gets an overdrawn message from his bank.
Right. And also, Theo makes Todd give George the vouchers back, which is ridiculous because, again, Todd's a partner in this business. So there's an expectation that maybe if George doesn't want to use the vouchers, Todd would use the vouchers. And that's not charity. That's part of doing business.
Right. On Friday, Todd's lost something, but not the will to live yet. Theo comes in to find him scrambling about for car keys, but Theo took them because he found them under down the side of the couch, and he took them and hid them in his pocket because he's a prick. Later, Sarah meets Todd and Dina's rolls to catch up. Todd complains about his lack of income as he dingies calls from Billy. They chat about Todd's fancy new car and Todd's guilt. Sarah doesn't care about that and wants a spin in the motor. Meanwhile, a customer Theo had lined up for Gary doesn't show up, and Gary's now sick of Theo and decides to cut ties with him, which makes Theo scratch the bit between his eyebrows. Todd takes Sarah for a ride, or rather, they just sit in the new car while it's parked in the street. Billy calls again, Todd dingies him again, and then Harry's school calls Sarah to let her know that he's vomited all over the school governors again. So Todd drives her quietly to the school in their electric car. Vroom. On the way back, though, Harry spills his milkshake over the back
He
seat.
spills it up.
Theo wanders by and pretends that everything is fine. It's just an accident. Forget about it.
Right. Yes, he literally does that. He literally says, forget about it. Like he's on The Sopranos.
Todd looks.
What the hell?
Todd looks relieved, but back home, Theo is fucking furious about the way Todd takes care of his present.
Right, yeah, because apparently Harry spilling a milkshake in the back seat is not Harry's fault. It's not Sarah's fault. It's Todd's fault.
Todd's
for
fault for letting
allowing
a kid
a
in a-
child in the car to begin with.
Yeah. Furious about the way Todd takes care of his present, losing the keys and allowing Harry 3.0 to spill his milkshake. I knew I called him 3.0. There, it's there. He insists Todd gets it cleaned professionally as he furrows his itchy brows.
Even though he's worried about money,
Yeah.
he makes Todd professionally clean the car.
So Todd goes and does this, but when he's calling Theo to let him know how lovely his back seat smells, he accidentally backs the
But
car
not like that.
into some scaffolding or something metal and scrapes the paint on the back wheel arch.
It's like a metal cart or something in the back.
Theo's gonna kill me. Meanwhile, George finds Theo in the community garden throwing himself a pity party with expensive coffee. George offers him some work at his place, which cheers Theo and his eyebrows up. Todd takes the car to Kev looking for a quick fix, but Kev's rushed off his feet with Tyrone in a wheelchair in one storyline and Abby running off with his brother in another. But he'll see what he can do. But later, Kev goes to the pub and tells Theo to tell Todd that his car won't be ready until tomorrow. It's the best he can do now that he's on the sauce in the afternoon. Back at home, Theo pretends he's in a good mood as Todd fusses over a special dinner. He tells Theo he parked the car on Tile Street to save it from some boys playing football. And as they eat, Theo complains about Sarah and the amount of butter in the mashed potatoes, and then quizzes Todd about where he parked the car, and then reveals that he knows all about the damage, and then he throws all the plates off the table, which we knew he was going to do thanks to a special camera angle. Todd's cowered on the floor as Theo shouts down at him, and Todd says that he knew he'd get angry because he's got a short fuse, and this shortens Theo's fuse.
Even more.
And he blames this on Todd being an idiot. Their argument stops when Sarah buzzes the flat. They keep her standing on the doorstep as she gives them a bottle of wine to say sorry for the milkshake thing, and Theo is perfectly polite as he covers up the smashed up kitchen behind him, and as soon as she's gone, Theo storms off to the bedroom. When he comes back, Todd admits to being an idiot and apologises about the car again, and sees how it's a slap in Theo's face, and he asks that they can put this behind them and move on. Theo tells Todd to close his eyes, which he does, and then Theo pours a whole pint of milk over Todd's head, then takes his cereal
In this economy?
and goes to watch telly. And that's how we end this week's episodes.
Yeah. Fucked up.
Yeah.
Fucked up. Fucked up that Todd is like, I'm sorry, you're right. Todd, you have nothing to be sorry for. But also, fucked up the whole pouring a whole carton of milk over Todd's head. And also the shouting down at Todd cowering on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate this so much.
It's very, very difficult to watch. And of course it's meant to be very, very difficult to watch. And it's harsh, and it's a bit of character retcon and Todd, I feel. And I know that it might sound victim blamey. I really don't mean it to sound like that, but the way that Todd's character's been for as long as we've known him, the most like he's been Todd recently is when he threw Theo out and he's let Theo back in again, and now things arguably are the worst that they've ever been.
Yeah, and of course part of this is Billy's fault for manipulating Todd back into the situation instead of being a good friend and listening to Todd. Because Billy seems like the only one who's like, no, go back to him. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, listen to George and Sarah who are like, is this worth it?
Yeah, listen to Christina, who just doesn't trust.
No.
Just doesn't trust Theo and can't really put her finger on why, but there's something about him that just doesn't work. And it's becoming more and more frequent now. It's the mood has been so fluctuating over this week. It feels like it's happening much more often, and it's much more volatile. And I don't know how Theo can be standing screaming at someone saying, am I the sort of person that gets angry, while being incredibly angry?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is believable because, you know, I've seen people like this. Mm-hmm. I've experienced people like this.
They don't hear themselves.
Right. And once the red mist descends, it's like another personality comes out, and they would be shocked if they saw videotape of their particular actions. In fact, the new Scorsese docuseries, apparently this happens. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that there's a part where there's a recording of him like being verbally abusive to one of his wives, and it's while listening to that he's like shocked into saying, "Oh my God, I was a bad person," sort of thing. So I mean, it's the behavior is believable, but it's just there's got to be a balance where you say, this is an important storyline for us to present, even though it's very, very similar to a storyline just a few years ago. Mm-hmm. But also, this is a storyline that's important to present, but how do we present it in a way where we are not victimizing survivors in our audience, where we're not triggering emotions from them that are not comfortable and not enjoyable, you know?
Yeah, and we keep on coming back to the fact that Theo, in his own way, is a survivor of horrendous behaviour as well, which is very close to making a statement on something that I'm not sure the show is trying to make, but it's difficult not to come to those conclusions. But yeah, the whole red mist thing is obviously valid, but what becomes more worrying maybe is that the length of time that happens between that argument and the pouring of the milk.
Yeah.
He's gone away and he's been in his room and he's come back and he's...
Right. Making a bowl of cereal?
So he's had some time to reflect.
Yeah.
And...
Hasn't helped.
And rather than it cooling matters, it's made it... Now we're into the humiliation side of it. Which, yeah.
Not great.
Isn't great. Let's make Todd happy.
Can we, please?
But again, I think this is promised to have some fuel left in it, that it's not approaching a conclusion. I haven't seen anything where people are saying this is how it's going to end, and you'll be surprised at who is going to be the hero of this story. And I think Billy's got to die at some point.
Right.
So surely we're building up to that before there's going to be any resolution. I'm like, I really don't want to have this going over Christmas.
No.
And I feel like it's going to.
Boo.
Oh well, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
It was an okay week, but there was nothing that was like, oh my God, the acting or it's so funny, or, you know, any of the things that really trigger moment of the week for me happened this week.
I know that we've been guilty of doing this, or at least my notes have been guilty of doing this. Actually, you've been guilty of doing it as well. The initial Stiffy joke was very funny.
It was. But we gave George Moment of the Week last week.
But exactly. We gave George Moment of the Week last week, and we don't like to give Moment of the Week to the same person twice.
No.
Or consecutively.
No. And there wasn't enough of Glenda to give it to Glenda, because I would give it to Glenda every week if I could. You're going to hate this.
No doubt.
Is it Bethany empowering Hope and then Hope empowering Bethany?
The best I can come up with is Naomi's square go, but that's giving it to the racist. And I'd rather not do that. If it's two-way empowerment between Bethany and Hope, no one saw that coming.
No.
That's our
Moment of the Week.
Moment of the Week.
boring moment of the week.
Oh, God, this is so hard.
We're back to George's stuff here again.
Is it Gemma and Bernie blowing up balloons? Because do we need to see them blowing up balloons?
No, we didn't. That's our
Boring moment of the week.
It's not great when it's so easy to find boring moment of the week and very hard to find moment of the week.
right.
Yay!
Now, normally at this point, I'd be doing Yay Miz, where we talked about what the poll on our Twitter feed looks like after I've asked our Twitter followers what they thought of this week's episodes, but this week's episodes haven't aired yet in full. So there is no Yay Miz this week. Instead,
Uh-oh.
I will just come straight to you, Helen, and say, what is your score out of 10 this week?
4.5.
You just finished saying it wasn't a bad week.
It wasn't a good week either.
4.5 though. That's virgin on bad week, isn't it?
Okay, 5. Is that better? Does that sound better to
That's
you?
a whole
5?
half better.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't it wasn't like an out and out stinker of a week, but it wasn't good either. Because if it's so hard for us to find a moment of the week, that's not a good week.
Do you know, if I think I was more on board with it on Monday and Wednesday. Friday was a tough watch. And I think that's maybe supposed to be applauded at some point, but it was more tough than worthy of applause, I think. Yeah, I think I'm maybe 5.5. Maybe I'd like to just a little bit more, but yeah, the past couple of weeks have been fairly heavy going.
Last week was better.
Yeah.
I can't remember why, but it was.
Excellent. It's always good when it's better, but you have no idea why.
Last week was better because George called Todd Toddicles and said he loved him.
And what we will always appreciate about Toddicles.
Yes.
All right, let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Jackie B, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Stephen, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine O'Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Steal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corrie Dales, Matthew McKinney, Ozzy Alley, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, and Rachel B. Thank you ever so much, folks. We really appreciate it. If you've ever got more mileage than was recommended from a simple double entendre, write in to tell us about it. We're the Talk of the Street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Or reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in November's classics, we're talking about episode 630. There's a fancy dress party. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com/thetalk of the street, patreon.com/thetalk of the street, or youtube.com/thetalk of the street podcast. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to our merch store, YouTube channel and blog. And if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes or your podcast provider of choice. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
We didn't do one this week.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.